Chapter 4's next trailer's release date might have just been teased by the developers themselves, according to some new tweets, along with a ton of other updates like more character teases, other developer news and secrets, and much more. So first, if you've been living under a rock, there has been a ton of mystery around a new Chapter 4 character with a hat teased throughout the past couple months, with many people questioning what they might be and whether they will be the main villain or not of the chapter. And we might have just gotten another tease from the devs about them, as in a podcast with the content creator Tibbers and Avalon, a former employee at Mob, when asked about what we could expect from them in Chapter 4, they said that while they left Mob Entertainment before most of Chapter 4's production, during the last chapter, they had apparently already began conceptualizing a new unrevealed character.
At the time Chapter 3 was wrapping up for completion, I was already involved in Chapter 4 concepting, so I was a part of the concepting process, a little bit of it, specifically one character in particular, but they have not shown up yet as of now, so I cannot name drop.
Now, this has led to many people, myself included, wondering if this could be another tease related to this mysterious hat being. And more importantly, if so, this matters because we learned after the release of the Nightmare Critters, a presumed side character set for Chapter 4, that they were first created back in June/July of 2024. Which matters because if they were already working on this unrevealed character around the time Chapter 3 released in January of 2024, then we can assume they aren't just going to be a small side character, but rather a larger, more important one, adding merit to the claim that they are indeed the Chapter 4 main villain, who still hasn't been revealed yet, but we'll talk about them a lot later, so stay tuned. In some merch news, after literally months of teasing it, the Yarnaby plush finally released, being a large 18-inch plush, including a separating head magnetically. And I mean, I'm a bit mixed with this plush because the design from certain angles and poses looks really good. It looks as accurate to the game it's gonna get, while on some others it looks almost deflated and just a bit weird. And for nearly $50, not even including shipping, it's admittedly a bit expensive. I'm personally wanting to see what other potentially better Chapter 4 merch we get before getting this one. And along with this drop, we also got some miscellaneous Yarnaby apparel, which actually gives us some new unseen art, which is always cool. Another cool detail I found interesting is all the way back in October, you might remember that Poppy Playtime was at New York's Comic-Con, where to celebrate, the devs claimed there were going to be buttons given away to fans every day for each chapter. Huggy on day 1, Mommy on day 2, Catnap day 3, then on the 4th and final day, a mystery button would be revealed. Now, the day would eventually come, and the devs would reveal the button was just a troll all along and didn't have any secrets. Or was it? Because months after this release, people began to find the Instagram of one of Poppy Playtime's merch artists, where in it, we saw a post about them showing off their Yarnaby merch designs that contained this image here showing a recreation of the Yarnaby art from this shirt, but this time themed around the 2024 New York Comic Con. Meaning this was actually meant to be our first look at Yarnaby on this mystery button they were teasing, but it was scrapped before release. Another small thing I found interesting is Mob Entertainment actually recently filed a lawsuit against Google, of all people, a few days ago. Specifically, from what I've gathered, the reason was for allegedly consistently allowing for fake scam Poppy Playtime games on the Google Play Store to exist and make money off their IPs, despite reaching out to Google to try and get them removed just for them to appear again a few days later, racking up hundreds of thousands of downloads and including in-app purchases, obviously tricking fans and driving traffic away from the real games. Now, this is a super new suit, so we don't really know any of the results of it. Google hasn't responded, and the game company they are targeting, Diego Games 2020, also hasn't responded from what I've seen, but I guess we'll see what happens in the future. Now, moving on to some Chapter 4 stuff, specifically with dev updates, there have been a ton of things going around the community relating to things the developers have been saying about Chapter 4. But first, over on the developer Anthony's Twitter page, he randomly went out and told us that it's a pretty small thing, but there's a connection between the Doctor trailer and the ARG that I'm surprised I haven't seen anybody make yet. Apparently confirming there are secrets inside of the last trailer nobody has found yet relating to the ARG, which left me really confused. I don't know if he means things like the red text here, which matches the red text in the ARG, or maybe something more obscure like the fire at the beginning of the trailer, possibly being a reference to the theater incident. But to be honest, I've looked at it on my own time and on stream, and I don't really know. If you have any ideas, please let me know in in the comments below. Another dev update we got was over on the Poppy Playtime Discord server. The developer Toby began saying some interesting things about like dates or whatever, which a lot of people have blown up into thinking he was teasing something relating to chapter 4, when in all reality 90% of this stuff was just Toby trolling. He is known for doing this in the past, and most of the things he was saying was just to mess around with people and trick them into thinking it actually meant something. But in this stretch, he did still mention a couple of cool things. Like for one here, he said that chapter 4 is the best chapter so far, which I guess of course be expected from the devs themselves, but it's nice to see that they are liking the way it looks, especially as we are here still without a gameplay trailer or even a screenshot. Plus, when asked to describe chapter 4 in one word, he simply said scary, which is again small, but more reassurance from the devs that the game will pick up where chapter 3 left off in a good way. Also, I wasn't there for it, but the devs held a podcast in their Discord server where I was told they confirmed that they have in fact playtested the game, and even that there was a specific part that they got stuck on. Some sources told me this was serious, and others told me it might have been them joking, so take that with a grain of salt. But moving on to the big stuff, people think we might finally be getting the chapter 4 main villain and a gameplay trailer here in just hours, and I'm not joking. Because as you guys know, and as I mentioned, we've been waiting forever for the next trailer or content for the game to release, as we are almost less than a week from its official launch, again assuming no delays or anything. And while waiting for this, Mob Entertainment would mysteriously post this on Twitter of literally just a red dot emoji. And now this caused fans to obviously go crazy, because the main question and mystery this brought up was, what was this for? Why were they posting this, and was this just another troll? Well, maybe so. At least that is until the next day, being today as I'm recording this, where Mob Entertainment would again tweet, this time a new color, orange. So now again, this begs the question, what are these colors orange and red for? Well, at first it might seem meaningless, until you remember that in my theory video talking about the mystery hat creature I've mentioned a few times now, I discussed that while teasing the character silhouette, they've also teased 3 colors in a bunch of different arts, being yellow, orange, and red, and they've even alluded to this more on Twitter, as one of the developers, Amber, posted these 3 emojis of the colors, which I theorized based on a number of teasers and evidence I discussed in that video if you want to check it out, were meant to be the colorway of this hatted creature. And conveniently, Mob has tweeted 2 of these 3 exact colors already. So with that being said, assuming this is right, that means the final color for the character, yellow, will be revealed tomorrow or on Wednesday. By the time you're watching this, it might have already been revealed. I'll update you in the pinned comment below. But then you're probably wondering, if they are tweeting the color of the mysterious main villain right now, then what happens after day 3? Well, a lot of people have been theorizing that this could be some kind of a countdown, and after all 3 of the colors are revealed, red, orange, and yellow, we might finally be getting ourselves the final trailer, or at least some kind of update, where presumably we will also be getting the reveal of this hat creature who they've kept teasing and are still teasing now, finally. And I mean, this would be a super interesting way to tease, and if so, at the time I'm uploading this will only be like 48 hours away, so I guess we don't have to wait that long to find out. And if this ends up being true, everybody thinks this is going to be a gameplay trailer, because up until this point, we've only gotten cinematic trailers, nothing of the actual gameplay. But I don't know, again, we'll have to wait and see.